Welcome back to a Clan a Day podcast, brought to you by bagtownclans.com. I'm your host, Colin MacDonald, and today we're journeying into the turbulent yet fascinating history of Clan Kerr, a family whose origins lie in the Scottish borders, famous for their tenacity, strategic alliances, and legendary left-handed warriors. The Kerrs played a pivotal role in the often bloody history of the Anglo-Scottish borderlands. The origins of Clan Kerr are somewhat shrouded in mystery, but most historians agree that the family descends from Anglo-Norman roots, possibly arriving in Scotland during the 12th or 13th century. The name Kerr has a number of interpretations. One suggests it is derived from the Old Norse word kjarr, meaning marsh dweller, while another theory connects it to the Gaelic word kjarr, meaning dusky. Regardless of its linguistic roots, the Kerrs quickly established themselves as one of the prominent families in the Scottish borders, where survival often meant fierce fighting and shifting allegiances. The Kerr family split into two rival branches early in its history, the Kerrs of Ferniehirst and the Kerrs of Cessford. Both branches claimed descent from two brothers, Ralph and John Kerr, who were said to have lived near Jedburgh in the 14th century. This division set the stage for one of the most enduring and bitter rivalries in Scottish clan history. The Kerrs of Ferniehirst descended from Ralph, and the Kerrs of Cessford from John, often found themselves on opposite sides of political and military struggles, even though both branches would go on to serve as wardens of the Middle Marches, the critical border region between Scotland and England. The Kerrs' influence as border lords peaked in the 16th century, a time of intense political upheaval. The two families frequently feuded not just with each other, but with other powerful border clans like the Scots. One of the more notable incidents occurred in 1526 when Sir Walter Scott of Buccleuch launched a daring raid to free the young King James I from the clutches of the Earl of Angus. In the ensuing skirmish at Melrose, Kerr of Cessford was killed, setting off a violent feud between the Kerrs and the Scots that lasted for decades. The Kerrs ultimately had their revenge in 1552 when they ambushed and killed Sir Walter Scott in Edinburgh, but it took a marriage alliance between Sir Thomas Kerr of Ferniehirst and Janet Scott to finally bring the feud to an end. One of the most distinctive features associated with the Kerrs is their famed left-handedness, which many believe gave them an advantage in battle. It's said that a disproportionate number of Kerrs were left-handed, and some of their buildings, including Ferniehirst Castle, were constructed with spiral staircases that favoured left-handed swordsmen. This reputation for left-handed prowess earned them a fearsome reputation among both allies and enemies, and some Kerr warriors were able to command higher fees for their skills in mercenary service. The Kerrs were also known for their loyalty, albeit often shifting depending on which way the political winds blew. Sir Thomas Kerr of Ferniehirst, for instance, was a staunch supporter of Mary, Queen of Scots, fighting for her cause at the Battle of Langside in 1568. Meanwhile, the Kerrs of Cessford threw their lot in with King James VI. Despite these differences, the family eventually reconciled and the two branches were united by the marriage of Anne Kerr of Cessford to William Kerr of Ferniehirst. From this union, the powerful Marquesses of Lothian emerged, who would dominate Scottish politics for centuries to come. The Kerrs' involvement in politics didn't end with the union of the crowns. In fact, their influence only grew stronger. The Kerrs of Cessford were elevated to the title of Earl of Roxburgh in 1616, while the Ferniehirst branch became the Marquesses of Lothian in 1701. Their political power extended through the 17th and 18th centuries, with the Kerrs holding numerous important titles and lands, including Newbattle Abbey, Flores Castle, and Cessford Castle, among others. One notable figure was Robert Kerr, the first Marquess of Lothian, whose son, Lord Mark Kerr, had a distinguished military career. Lord Mark was a general during the Jacobite Rising of 1745, and his younger brother, Lord Robert Kerr, was tragically killed at the Battle of Culloden while defending the British government. Despite this loss, the Kerrs remained steadfast in their commitment to the British Crown, continuing to serve in high military and political positions well into the 18th century. Over the centuries, the Kerrs contributed more than just military might to Scotland. They also left an indelible mark on its cultural and political landscape. Their castles, particularly Ferniehirst Castle, became symbols of Kerr power and resilience. Ferniehirst, now restored and still owned by the Marquess of Lothian, is open to the public, offering a glimpse into the Kerr family's storied past. The castle even comes with its own ghost, the famous Green Lady, adding yet another layer to the Kerr legacy. Today, the chief of Clan Kerr is Michael Kerr, the 13th Marquess of Lothian, who also goes by the title of Michael Ancram. The Kerrs remain one of Scotland's most prestigious families, and their contributions to Scottish and British history are remembered not only in the borders, but across the country. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Clan Kerr's rich and fascinating history, from their early days as border rivers to their rise as powerful nobles. The Kerrs' story is one of loyalty, conflict, and resilience. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of A Clan a Day podcast. I'm Colin MacDonald, and as always, go an Irie and both are leet.